All right, welcome in. We are here. Sorry for the delay. We're using a new system, and the new system seems to bug out on us like every day. So it's not for a lack of effort. I promise you guys that. Hey, new scene today. Look at this. A little bit different. Scene for you guys. Hopefully, you guys like this. Something a little bit different. But thanks for hanging out. Make sure you hit the share button. Hit the comments. You guys love your comments in here already getting going. Going to talk a little signing day. Going to talk a little Conrad Hussey. Florida State gets a post-signing day present. That's kind of cool. A little Travis Hunter, Hykeem Williams beef on the timeline. That's fun. Talk a little Christmas or whatever you guys want to talk about. It doesn't matter to me. We're here for all of it. So thank you guys for hanging out. Harlan, let's get Gramco and Garnet Gold up on the screen if we can. Forgot to tell you to do that, but just whenever you get a chance, no big rush. We're getting things figured out here. Well, let's get this out. Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up. Obviously, share this. Let's get after it. What are you guys up to today? We'll get rolling. Every day. But what are you guys up to? What are we? 2 days from Christmas, Festivus. I would like to talk about. I wouldn't mind talking about Festivus. I don't know if that'll lose us all the viewers that are in here watching or not, but it's probably one of my favorite Seinfeld episodes ever. George's dad makes up a holiday for him. Yeah, it's good stuff. If you had some grievances to air, that's a good one. Yeah, maybe we'll give away a gift card or something. Yeah, let's give away a Garnet and Gold gift card today. What's up, Robert? What's up, Noel Squad, Yak Crew, Buck Squad, everybody that's in here? Make sure you hit your comments. If you had grievances to air, what are you most upset with? Are you upset with anything, or you feel pretty happy? Not a lot to be upset with, I feel like. A Festivus for the rest of us. That's right, Mike. Truly one of the best there. All right, yeah, we'll talk about some of these guys you guys are commenting on. Let's get after it. Let's talk a little FSU football. Harlan, if you could also get rid of my name up there in the top right. I know we're doing a million things at once, so no rush on it, but when you get a chance. Double fries, no slaw, FSU spaces, however you want to call this. Little signing day recap, and then we'll talk about Conrad Hussey. Then we'll talk about Travis Hunter and Hykeem Williams. That was kind of fun. And then we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Signing day recap. So I really wasn't too upset with FSU's class. I think they missed on one big target, and you're kind of upset with that. I kind of get it. I don't want to harp on that for sure. But frustrating for sure. You would have liked to finish there. You would have liked to get that final piece of your class. But other than that, if I'd have told you, hey, you're going to miss on one guy, it's not Hykeem Williams. You miss on one, but the rest of the class stays intact. You sign what you need. You get the pieces. I know there's a lot of disappointment with Falk. I get that. But overall, I think the class kind of was about what you expected, right? Nothing else really crazy happened. There wasn't anything that I'd say oh my goodness, this, that, the other. I think you're fine with the class. I think you're good with how things happen. I think we knew early in this cycle that the class wasn't going to just go crazy. No one was predicting top 10. I think you kind of expected between that 12 and 15 range. If you close on Falk, that's where you're at. You didn't. And so that one player did drop you several spots. You got a couple of things late with Hussey coming in. You got Edwin Joseph to solidify. I don't think those two make up for the loss of Falk, but I do think they're a nice little consolation, right? And so the Falk thing is frustrating, but I think you're fine. We'll get over it. I do want to talk a little bit about Conrad Hussey. We had a pre-record ready to go for him. We didn't end up putting that out because I figured I'd rather just talk with you guys about him. This is a massive get for FSU. Harlan's going to play some highlights. He's going to put some stuff up on the screen. But Hussey was committed to Penn State since April 25th. His primary recruiter was Jawan Sider, one of the absolute best recruiters in the country. South Florida kid, a lot of ties there with Sider. Miami was in here late. But Florida State did a really, really good job pulling a blue chip kid from South Florida, attends St. Thomas Aquinas High School, one of the premier schools in the state. He's the 11th best safety prospect in the country, 6 foot, 190 pounds. We've talked about this a ton, and well, maybe we actually haven't. Maybe I've just been talking about this, in videos that we haven't put out. But I think with what the NFL wants and really what college football is wanting is more of that jackknife, Swiss Army knife, kind of can do it all safety, and that is absolutely what Hussey can and might be. He reminds me of, very much Jamie Robinson's position. He kind of reminds me of, not this player, so don't flip out when I say this, but he reminds me a little bit of what you're looking for in like a Derwin James type who can line up at the line of scrimmage, who can play coverage, who can be back over the top, and just play different positions there on the defense. And I think that's what FSU is looking for in that safety. I don't think your traditional just play-back safety is really a thing anymore, like your John Lynch type. All right? Like I think a lot of what people are looking for now with that position is that can kind of do it all guy. I'm not saying that Hussey is Derwin James. I just think that the similar play styles of being able to line up in different positions. Derwin James is the guy that you want every safety in the world to be like. He's the best in the NFL. He was the best in college. Like he's that guy. And so he's what every safety going forward, I think, you kind of want to model after. It's really big. It's really big for Woodson. We talked about this. It looked like at one point you might miss out on both Joseph and Hussey. That would have been really, really bad for Woodson, who clearly had a rough go of it last year. Did end up getting Azariah Thomas. That's really impressive. But you lose Travis Hunter, then you lose Sam McCall less than a year later. Not great. That unit has not been spectacular by any means. I think the secondary is one of the weakest units on the team. I think development needs to get there better. But, I do have to give him a hat tip. I think that you had to finish with some kind of positivity, and Hussey and Joseph give you that. And so I think that's really, really big for Woodson and FSU. Hussey has elite speed, a verified 10.90 in the 100-meter, runs track, obviously dual sport athlete. And I think that it's really, really big the Noles picked him up. He visited Miami the final weekend before early signing day and basically told John Ruiz, your money's no good here. So shout out to FSU for closing here. This was huge. I think that, being able to have some kind of positivity post the Keldrick Falk situation was really big for the Noles. I'd love your ideas or your thoughts on Hussey. There we go. Just went up over triple digits. Maybe if I would have shared this other places, we'd get it going. Harlan, I want to give a shout out to my producer. Love the B-roll footage going up. Love the highlights while we're talking. I think that's really, really cool. So shout out to my guy Harlan for getting all that hooked up and all that taken care of. Let's flow through some questions right now. Let's see what you guys have. See if you guys have anything that you are asking about. I've just kind of been rolling and have been watching these highlights. This kid's great. I think this kid's going to be really, really good. I like this pickup for the Noles, so I've been kind of just watching highlights like you guys were. How do we always have 4 and 5 stars at the beginning and then lose out on so many? Yeah, I don't know. I go both ways on this. So, one, you're right. How do you lose guys like that? Back-to-back years, some of your highest-rated prospects, you lose. I do think it's frustrating, but I do think, it's not just an FSU problem. Look at Miami with Cormani McClain. He may end up signing there today. We'll see. But I don't think it's just an FSU problem. Look at Conrad Hussey. He was committed there since April, right? Longer than Keldrick Falk was. So I just think that's the name of the game in high school recruiting. I think Falk came out and said it would take something drastic for him to end up at Auburn. Well, they fired their coach and hired a really good recruiter, and they pay a crap ton of money. So, it's what it is, right? That's pretty drastic. So I get it. I get that it's frustrating when it happens to you, but it does happen to everybody. It truly does. Miami's experiencing it now. Ohio State experienced it. Notre Dame experienced it. Oregon experienced it. It truly does happen to everybody. I mean, I don't know that it happened to Georgia and Alabama, but those guys are on different levels. For all intent and purposes, it seemed like LSU had Ricks locked up. And Alabama came in and stole that late. I know it's different when the kid was recruited, but it does truly happen to everybody. 2023 be a great year. Let's put the bull's eye on Cypress and Fisk. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Hearing that FSU is tampering, that's a good one. Let's talk about that real quick, and then we will give some shout-outs and keep it going. I love the accusations of tampering. I love the idea that Florida State is doing what every other school in the country is doing and tampering. I have no inside information that FSU is doing anything like that. I did think it was funny that accusations of tampering came out when, especially, obviously we'll talk about the Travis and Hykeem thing here in just a minute, but when Deion Sanders named his son as the next starter of Colorado before he had even played his last game at Jackson State, the NCAA is completely powerless, and I'm not worried about any kind of tampering. Nobody's getting in trouble for that crap. I love the South Carolina people that are kind of butthurt about that right now. I think we need to probably go get that defensive end from them just to kind of continue to pour salt in that wound. But yeah, I do like the tampering accusations. Harlan, I don't even know if you have this up or if you can get to it or not, but I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Gramco. You can go to thegramco.com. Show them your support by entering TJ25 at checkout. They have the best Delta 8 products on the market. They are truly elite. Was mixing a little bit of that flavorless, odorless quick mix in with my eggnog and bourbon the other day. So, go get you some Gramco, thegramco.com. Use TJ25 at checkout. They are some of the best people in the world. It probably is too late to shop for Christmas. I can't guarantee you get your stuff before then, but if you need some late Christmas shopping, if you want to get people some gift cards, I think they can e-deliver those. So, thegramco.com, TJ25 for all of your Delta 8 needs. Okay, let's talk about, we got some good questions in here. Some of these are great, and I am going to go back through them. So, keep the comments coming in. Let's keep going after it. Let's talk a little bit about this Travis Hunter, Hykeem Williams thing. Threw up a video yesterday when that happened. Thought that was fun. Thought that was interesting. I like the energy. I'll just say that. I love the energy that Hykeem Williams already has. I have no problem with anything Travis Hunter said. That's fine too. I think that, they're young kids. They're passionate about not only themselves being the best, but also the programs and the coaches that they're committed to. And they both want to defend those guys and those programs. I thought yesterday was a ton of fun in seeing that. Obviously, you want a Knoll. You want a kid that's coming into Tallahassee to stand up and defend this university, this program, his head coach. I think that is super, super special that Hykeem Williams is already getting in there and talking that smack. I know that, all the greats have always done that. They've always been able to talk that trash. It was great to see Hykeem do that, stand up for FSU and defend it, stand up for staying committed. I don't have any problem with where we never did a video. We never talked about like, oh man, I cannot believe Travis Hunter would leave or not commit or not sign with us. Whatever, bro. That's his life. Absolutely no problems with that at all. But I do think there's something to be said about loyalty. Hykeem's a loyal kid anyway. There was a lot of talk around the fact that he could have gone to a lot of other different high schools and played at a bunch of different places, but continued to stay at Stranahan, who wasn't very good, and honor that commitment and honor that. And, all you heard when Hykeem signed was that, gift cards delivered electronically on the same day. So shout out Gramco for being in here, checking us out. All you heard when Hykeem signed was that he was going to end up flipping to Miami, end up flipping to Texas A&M. That certainly wasn't the case. He stayed committed to Florida State, never wavered, never took another official visit, did go down to Miami to watch North Carolina beat them once, but I liked it. I liked that he was in there and basically calling his shot. Like, hey, man, we're we're going to do what we do, and we're going to stay committed, and, couldn't be you, right? So shout out to Hykeem. It seemed like Hykeem was laughing through all of it, and to me, I don't know. I could be reading this wrong, but it seemed like Hunter was upset. It seemed like Hunter was upset for getting called out, and I don't know if, that's just the way I read it. Now, I'm an FSU fan, so I'm probably reading things with garnet and gold colored glasses, but it seemed like Travis was getting emotional about it. Once he brought up Norvell, once he brought up FSU staff, you could tell it was getting to him. I like that. I like that Hykeem was able to get under his skin. Obviously, I don't think Colorado and Florida State will ever play over the next 2 years. I don't think a bowl game I just don't think that's going to happen. It would be cool if that did happen. I thought that was cool. Yeah, this is a good comment here from my guy Robert. Robert said, I like how Jordan Travis calmed the whole thing down with a tweet about staying focused and things, kind of putting it into it. Oh, that was good. Hykeem responded well after that. Hykeem's young, young kid, ready for those Twitter beefs. Not always the smartest thing to do, but it was entertaining for us. I have no problem with it, though. I thought that was really, really cool. Love to get your thoughts. Love to hear what you guys think on both Hunter and Hykeem. I thought that was fun yesterday, though, to see. Football's it's December. There's no good games on. We're getting like one bowl game a day. I thought that was fun. All right, some questions about Jared Verse, Fabian Lovett, Jamie Robinson. So it wouldn't shock me if any of the three of them came back. My gut, though, is that you probably only get one of them back, maybe two. I certainly don't think you're getting all three. I think there was some optimism around Fabian Lovett. I think there's less optimism there now than there was before. I would be pretty shocked if you got Fabo back. I just don't know that that's happening. I think that he's probably going to go to the NFL. I think the same thing for Jamie. Either of those guys could come back, but I just don't. I don't have that in me. I think that they're both probably gone. Versus the one that I would look for. Versus the one that I would look at. And I think that that's one that may end up happening. I think you may get Jared Verse. Do you think FSU is going to increase their off-field staff? That's a major part of us and our high school recruiting issues. I don't. Will they increase the staff? Yes. Do I think that's an issue? No. I don't think the off-field staff is an issue at all. Florida State is consistently first on guys. They were the first ones to be able to evaluate Kromenhoek when he was a 3-star before he was a top 10 quarterback in the 2024 class. They get on these transfers before anyone else. The scouting and recruitment department does a phenomenal job. Florida State has a closing problem. If there's any problem, it's a closing problem. Let me say that. Let me back that up. So yeah, I don't think it's the off-field staff. I think the off-field staff is one of the best in the country. They evaluate talent and they get on talent before anyone else. The off-field staff got Keldrick Fogg. You know what I'm saying? Like they were in on Keldrick Fogg. It's Florida State's closing. It's not the off-field staff. All of the elite kids are visiting and coming to, like, Florida State's in on them. And you see consistently Florida State's kids are rising in the rankings. So it's not like they're taking just, Edwin Joseph rose. Like, a lot of kids rose up. I think Florida State's off-field staff is really, really good. And so, yeah, could they increase the size and would that help more? Yeah, but I think they just got to close, man. Like, I think that's a lot of what it is. But I love that. But Spleen, I love that comment. That's huge. I think that's a good take though. Like, I don't hate that take. All right, let's do this. Yeah, it hit home for Travis Hunter. Yeah, that's all I had to say about Travis Hunter. I understand we want to stop talking about him, but he went at a null yesterday in Hykeem, and so yeah, we were certainly going to mention that. What do I see Hykeem's career turning into? Okay, so I think that, he's a big kid, right? He's already, 200 pounds? He's like 6'3", if I'm not wrong on that. That kid can be absolutely anything he wants to be. Like, he could be Bolden. He could be better than Anchor. Like, that's just the kind of talent that he is. Now, he needs to be developed. He needs to absolutely crush it. I think he's going to get in early and be able to play a ton. But, yeah, the kid could be great, right? Like, the kid could be when it's all said and done, if he absolutely busts his butt and works his tail off, he could be a top 5 wide receiver here ever. And Florida State has a history of great wide receivers. Obviously, P-Dub comes to mind. Rashad Green comes to mind. The freaking best wide receiver in the country trophy is named after a Florida State wide receiver in Biletnikoff. There have been a lot of really elite wide receivers here. Even recently, with some of the down years, obviously Alden Tate, other guys have been really good. Snoop Minnis, Ron Dugans, but he could be Kez McCorvey. Think about the guys in the 90s. He could be a top 5 wide receiver ever at Florida State, which would be incredible. If you took that right now, if I offered you that right now, you wouldn't even think twice about it. You'd be like, yes, I'll take that. That's kind of, now, he needs to apply himself. Florida State's QB play needs to continue to improve. Jordan Travis needs to take another step forward this year. We need to have good quarterback play once Travis is gone in 24 and 25. I think he's out of here after 24, 25, obviously. But yeah, I think he could be really good. Hey guys, do me a favor. Over 150, almost to 200 people in here. We have 40 likes. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Certainly appreciate that. Cormani McLean, question there. Yeah, I don't have any inside information there. I think that's, I don't know. The Miami insiders on Twitter were saying that, that he would end up signing the next day. I think that, obviously that didn't happen. We're through to Friday. The kid doesn't necessarily have to sign. He could just enroll once the semester starts. I believe Miami's semester starts similarly to Florida State's, that second weekend of January. Calendar's kind of weird with the first being on a Sunday. I think it starts on the 8th or 9th. So he could just enroll. I think the 17th is their final day of drop ad. So somewhere between there. I don't know. I would guess that McLean makes an announcement today. But who knows? I have no clue. Are we going after the UF starting tackle in the portal? They should be. That was a surprise. UF had an okay signing class, had a pretty decent, not a great class by any means, but I think UF did okay. Finished at number 12, 13th if you count the transfers. But I think that losing your starting tackle, that was not, we make jokes and stuff, but a lot of the kids leaving UF are, they're okay with them leaving. They're trying to flip a roster. We did that same thing in 2020, 2021. We were okay with kids getting out, going somewhere else. That was not Tarquin. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I think that's it. I think that was a shock to them. I think they were not happy with that, and I think that's a big loss. Now, Florida not only loses him, but also obviously loses Osiris Torrance, the Louisiana transfer that came over with Billy Napier. You lose both those guys. I think that's huge. I know we're seeing him. Back to Jared Verse really quick. I know we're seeing him mocked in the first round, but a mock isn't necessarily the same as a draft grade, right? So the draft grades they get can be sometimes second round or late first, early second to mid second. And so I'm not claiming to know what Jared's grade is, but sometimes the grade is different than the actual mocks that you're seeing from the draft experts on social media and that write for these different websites. The grades come from the actual scouts. John Campbell, the Miami offensive lineman from leaving UM and coming in. I don't know. I've talked with a lot of people about this. Some people want that to be a take. Some people don't. It sounded like there would be some movement there this week. I think we're in a kind of a hold pattern because other guys have entered the portal, and Florida State has already picked up 3 transfer offensive linemen. Jeremiah Byers is the best transfer available, so shout out to the Noles for getting him. They've picked up the best transfer at a couple of different positions. Number 1, tight end. Number 2, offensive line. They might pick up the best one when it comes to safety, and then also defensive line with Fisk and Cypress. We'll talk about those guys in just a moment. But I think that with Campbell, since you already picked up 3 offensive linemen, you picked up obviously Byers, you picked up sheesh. Where are we at with with the other guys? You picked up Kendrick Jones, and then you also picked up the Colorado kid. I'm forgetting the name. Sorry. Somebody will hit me in the chat. But since you've already picked up away 3 of them, I think you might want that Florida kid. I think you might want another tackle. Casey Roddick. Yeah, thanks guys. Too many names these last 2 days. I think since you've already picked up 3, you might want to wait and see. You might want to wait and see who else is available. I mean, I'd certainly take that Florida kid over that Miami kid. That Florida kid was a good starter for them. Graded out really, really well. The Miami starter started because Zion got hurt. So, yeah, I think you're fine kind of waiting and seeing there. I don't know that he would come in and start John Campbell. So I think he'd be a depth piece, which you certainly need. But if you could pick up a starter as opposed to a depth piece, I think you'd be pretty thrilled. My guy Mike, shout out my guy Mike. Always appreciate you, my man. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, you guys. All right, I want to do this. Let's do something fun. I want to shout out Garnet and Gold. I want to know. Look, I know that this is football, and we're gonna talk about football for. We'll be on here for the next. What are we on? 30 minutes or so. We'll be on here for another half an hour, so we're not going anywhere. But, you're right. Cyrus the cornerback. I was thinking of Hussey yesterday. We talked about at the beginning. I want to know. Do you guys have any Christmas traditions that are really cool? Not like, oh, we open up presents on Christmas morning and then we eat breakfast. Like, that's not, everybody does that. Do you have any cool holiday traditions? Anything that's fun? If not, that's fine. Let's give a shout out to Garnet and Gold. GarnetandGold.com. You can go there. You can't order in time for Christmas. I'm sorry. You waited too long if you haven't ordered. But you can get gift cards for people for Christmas. If you need to do some last-minute Christmas shopping, you can order stuff and give them the receipt, I guess. You can give them the email and tell them that their order's coming in. GarnetandGold.com. You can use code NOSLAW, NOSLAW, for 15% off your order at GarnetandGold.com. They are leaders when it comes to FSU merchandise, athletic apparel, and licensed products. GarnetandGold.com. No Slaw, NOSLAW. You know we're big on the double fries thing here. No Slaw at garnetandgold.com. Hey guys, if you're watching, if you're listening, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you are subscribed. We've actually got a couple of videos that are in the can right now, ready to go out. A couple of them are breaking news. A couple of them are just kind of good news and notes for FSU. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that. We've seen a ton of growth over the last few months. That's been really, really encouraging, and we really appreciate you guys for it. We had 500 subscribers in June. Right now we're at 4,400. So appreciate the growth there. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of these traditions. Some of you guys say you watch Polar Express every Christmas Eve. My kids are obsessed with that movie, so that's pretty good. A Christmas Story a minimum of 3 times. There we go. On Christmas, we make sand balls instead of snowballs. I like that. That's something different. Can you send me a picture of that on Twitter tomorrow? I'd love to see what that. It's going to be cold here tomorrow. It's kind of nice today. I can feel the temperature dropping, but I thought it'd be nice to go outside and do something a little different today. Let's see here. What else do we have on the docket today, Harlan? Let's be. What about SAD? What about an SAD? I don't know what that means. Jordan Newton. What about a SAD? Sandman. Okay, yeah, you must have hit enter too early there. Sandman sounds like a lot of work, man. Just a sand ball sounds like a much easier thing to do. Overall signing day thoughts. We talked about that at the beginning. Somebody asked about the South Carolina defensive end. Oh, man. Let's pull that up real quick. On 3 transfers. Highly rated. I like this kid. Edge. And he's from South Carolina. Let's take a look. Gilbert Edmond, Fort Pierce, Florida. When he announced for the portal, a ton of folks we're tagging FSU in that. I don't know why. I reached out to a couple of people and just kind of asked why they were so hyped on Edmond, and I think it was just because we get whatever we want. Y'all, I'm sorry for I'm sorry for talking about how cold it is when it's cold where you guys are. Sorry. But Gilbert Edmond, South Carolina defensive end. I'd be cool with Florida State, kind of trying to see what's up there. You missed out on Falk. You're going to need some additions there. I do think there's a good chance you get Verse back. We talked about him just a little bit. But I like Edmond. So, sorry for the people where it's below zero. Sorry, it's like 60 here. That's a little cold. Look, I got long sleeves on. I got my Made Equal joggers on. Shout out Made Equal. Yeah, I'm cold. So I know you guys are colder, but our Christmas traditions, so we don't do anything real crazy. What I will say, and I love the coquito there, Johnny. I would love if Johnny would send me some coquito. That'd be cool. That would be great. Put some dry ice on that and mail that up to Tampa for me. We don't do. I spend Christmas yelling at the clouds because FSU. Having all these kickers in the NFL, not one reliable one on the roster. That's pretty good, Rick. We don't do anything real crazy for Christmas. I will say what we've done a good job of on Christmas is we keep Christmas Eve for our family and our family only. Like Christmas Day is tough because, the grandparents want to see the kids. There's different things that, I feel like you just have to do on Christmas. We don't see anyone on Christmas Eve. We get up in the morning and we make like reindeer pancakes and we just hang out as a family. We usually watch like a Christmas movie, whatever. The kids are into Grinch this year. I'm sure it'll be the Grinch. We go to Christmas Eve service at church. I think it's like 3:00 this year. We come home. We go look at Christmas lights. We read. We always open up one present the night before Christmas. It's our Christmas jammies. We do that thing where everybody wears the same jammies that evening. We read the Christmas story. We read Luke 2, and then we go to bed. We do milk and cookies for Santa. So, like, nothing in there is crazy. Like, everybody does a lot of that stuff. But we do make sure that Christmas Eve is special just for our family. So we don't go see a bunch of people. We're not going to see like if family's like, oh, we're getting together on Christmas Eve, it's like, all right, well, that's for y'all. And then Christmas Day is a lot of running around and, seeing different family and doing this, that, and the other. But we've tried to keep Christmas Eve really, really special for just our family. So I wouldn't call that, I don't know if any of that's a tradition. A lot of people read Luke 2. A lot of people read the Christmas story. A lot of people leave milk and cookies for Santa. So nothing in there is crazy, but we try and keep that day just for us. In my opinion, future team building formula, focus on high school recruiting on trench monsters and portal hunt skill guys. Your thought? Okay, yeah. That's a great question. King Spleen, you've come up with two great questions. Some people put bad questions in here. Some people I just can't get to, but you've had two good ones. So I think that you bring up a really good point. I think that high school Jeremy, that's funny. I think high school recruiting is still very, very important. But I'm starting to lean away from the fact that it is just the absolute end-all, be-all when it comes to recruiting. And here's why. I think that when you recruit the high school level, unless you're pulling in the absolute elite of the elite, your Hykeem Williams and maybe Keldrick Falk, right? Like, I don't think Keldrick Falk was going to play for FSU until at least midway through the year. Maybe not even, he may get in some snaps here and there, but I don't think he was going to be like an every down. Like, he wasn't coming in to be an every down guy. Those guys got to grow. They got to get bigger. They've got elite talent. But with high school recruiting, I think the big pro is that you can develop them yourselves, right? And you potentially have them for more years. So with high school recruiting, you have them for 3 to 4 years, right? But the con of high school recruiting at this point is that they get one free transfer. They can leave you immediately. They can leave you after year one, right? The other con is that it takes them time to be developed. They can't play right away most of the time. I'd say 90% of high school recruits cannot play right away. And so it takes some time. So the pro of portal recruiting is what? Well, they've already been developed by somebody else. They've already put on college weight. They've already built out their college frames. The other pro is they can't leave you after 1 year. I mean, they can, but for all intent and purposes, they can't leave you because then they have to sit out a year. So they're usually a little more locked in. Now, I'm not saying that that's a reason that portal recruiting should replace high school recruiting, but I do think that that's a positive of it. Colorado is not losing Travis Hunter next year, right? If Dion was to leave or go somewhere else or get fired or whatever, Colorado is not losing him because you have to sit out a year, and that's one more year before you go to the NFL. So I think now you could just take the year off, I guess, and train for the NFL. That'd be fine. But I think that you are a little more locked in with a transfer. Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, those guys weren't going to leave for another college. They might go to the NFL, but they weren't going to leave for another. Jared Verse, not leaving for another college. So there's a little bit more security there. I'm also liking the idea that you can get some guys that you know are already developed. I don't know that Darrell Jackson was a take for Florida State in 2020. He was on the fence of being a take for Florida State in 2021. But Florida State's defensive depth, I just don't, it was better for him to go to Miami. But now, he's been trained in college for 2 years. You now have him for a year or two now. I think that locks guys in a little more. That's a pro of portal recruiting. I understand that we need to go to a place where the high school recruiting improves. I completely agree with that. But instead of filling out your roster with a bunch of 3-stars and guys that are projects, you just take other people's projects that they've already developed into pretty good players. It's worked well for FSU. I like Josh's paycheck to paycheck analogy. I think there is some relevance to that. The other side of that is Florida State has proven it and is absolutely a portal destination. And so when great players go into the portal, there's a chance Florida State signs 4 of the top 10 transfers available, guys. Is that sustainable to go 4 of 10 every year? No. But every year they've signed a couple of the top 10. When you look at the production, when you look at everything else, I don't know if it's sustainable to take 12 hits every year, but I do think it's sustainable to take 5 to 6, 7. You can add 5 to 7 guys on your roster. I think the portal thing is realistic to continue to sustain. Now, a lot of people say, well, Manny Diaz just lived in the portal and, Mullen just lived in the portal. The portal's different today than it's ever been, right? Don't compare the 2016, 17, 18, 19 portals to today's. Today's portal is way, way different. Look at the players that are jumping in the portal now, not only from a quantity standpoint, but also a quality standpoint. Look at the guys that are jumping in the portal now. It's insane. You got first-team All-ACCers. You talk about Cypress. We'll talk about Cypress and Fisk here in just a minute. But when you look at who is actually jumping in the portal right now, it's completely different than what you had 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. The portal is ever evolving, right? It jumped on the scene. You could always transfer 10 years ago, no big deal. But it jumped on the scene big 6, 7 years ago. 5, 6 years ago, somewhere in there, right? I think about it a lot when Burrow went down to LSU. It was around then. Manny Diaz was very big in the portal. The portal is way, way, way different today than it was then. People like to say you can't win through the portal. You can't build a winner through the portal. Florida State's knocking on the door of beating Clemson for the ACC next year. In some sports books, it's going to be like razor thin who the favorite is in the ACC next year. So don't tell me you can't build a winner. Can you build a sustainable champion? Probably not, because guys do leave after a year. But don't tell me you can't pull a Rams and go 1 year. USC nearly did it this year. Florida State's going to be in the top 10 next year. They're going to be in the top 10 odds to make the playoff. With all of that in mind, will they win a championship? I don't know. But if they can compete for a playoff spot, I think the portal will work just fine. All right, let's answer some questions. I'm done with my portal rant for a minute. It's a different portal right now, guys, than it was when that all was happening. More Christmas traditions. I like it. Leave milk and cookies out for Coach Bowden. I like it. Birthdays on Christmas. We drink a lot of Coquito, eat roast pork, and then sing happy birthday at midnight. Christmas Day spent hung over. Gianni, I love it. Good stuff. Believe in Fitzy, not yeah, there's a lot of talk about kickers. Fitzgerald was a lot better the back half of the year. I know he missed the early one against Florida, but he did rebound nicely to make a big kick that Florida State, I think, had to have. I think you got that stop. You needed to have that field goal. I don't know. I don't think they use a scholarship on a kicker anywhere. Get some interesting kids in 2024. We'll see. I think that, you certainly don't want to have that cost you a game next year. Obviously, that'd be detrimental to a lot of things. Florida State's offense is going to score a lot of touchdowns next year. So, hopefully you can just kind of keep making extra points. We'll see, though. I think every position is evaluated by Norvell. I don't think – and I think if he can grab somebody at a certain spot, he certainly will. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We'll go for about 15 more minutes, 20 minutes, and we'll get out of here. Let you guys get back to your Festivus. Hopefully you've had a good day so far today. How many spots do they have left for this year for people who may enter the portal after bowl games? I don't know. I've never been, and I know that I'm stealing when I say this. Newberg used to say the numbers always work themselves out. I've never been super big on trying to figure out the numbers. I feel like it truly does always work itself out. Guys they'll be over the scholarship count, even probably going into the spring. And I think that guys coming out of the spring will kind of get the message and understand, hey, whether I'm going to be on the two deep or not. And so more guys will transfer out. I've never worried about numbers. So, I wonder how much partial season out of him. Yeah, you're not right, Noel Lee. Portal works for FSU because of the early scouting program culture. But, yeah, I think that the off-field staff does a really good job. New Year's Six Bowl at least next year? Yeah, I agree with that. So here's a good take. If Florida State would have started this year ranked, their 9-3 record would have gotten them to a New Year's Six Bowl. The big problem was they finally got ranked and then lost 3 games, and that dropped them out. So they didn't have enough time to get ranked again. But if they go 9-3 next year, they're in a New Year's Six Bowl. I completely agree with that. I think 9-3 needs to be the floor, though, just for the record. I think you need to go 9-3, 10-2. If not, better than that. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate you for subbing right now. Message early, we lose a game due to kicking. We lost the NC State game due to confidence in kicking. I don't know. So I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, back to Cypress and Fisk. Sorry. I get what you're saying on that, but we lost that game because the offense sucked, man. I get it, but the offense just sucked that game. It just is what it is. All right, Cypress and Fisk. I like where the Noles are for Cypress right now. Now, I'll say that, and I don't know if anything's been reported today just because we've been kind of running around going crazy doing different things. But I do really like where the Noles are for Cypress. I think that if he takes a visit in January, I think that would be kind of I wouldn't say trouble, but I think that if he was to take a visit, you're probably looking at a battle between FSU and wherever he goes to visit. If he doesn't take a visit, then yeah, I like the Noles. I mean, I think the Noles end up landing Fintrell Cypress, Deuce Cypress, all ACC second team cornerback out of Virginia. Fisk, I saw a report out this morning. I'm sorry, it was yesterday. He's down to 3 schools, USC, Florida State, and Notre Dame. Man, those are 2 powers that Florida State's going up against. And Florida State's a power as well, without a doubt. No slide at FSU there. But you're going up against 2 powers that have newer coaching staffs, right? Just, very, very new coaching staffs, both within the last year. And so, I mean, that's a tough battle. I think that Florida State has a lot they can offer. You look at what Florida State's defense is building toward, and the run that Florida State may potentially be able to make next year. I also think that USC thinks that they can make another run next year. They're bringing back a guy that's going to compete with Travis for that Heisman at QB, and I think that they could be really, really interesting. Sounds like, Fisk may want to go kind of away from home, even though Notre Dame is kind of the hometown team since he's from Indiana. So in my estimation, that's kind of a USC-Florida State battle. I don't know how big NIL plays into that. I don't know how important that is or isn't. But yeah, he would be really, really big for FSU. Harlan, do we have close that you could get to some? Do we have any Cypress or Fisk highlights that we could throw up? I think we have Cypress. I do think we have. I think we did one for him. If not, no big deal. But yeah, I feel really good on Cypress. I think Fisk would be a tough one. Or not a tough one, sorry. I think that's one that is I feel less confident about just because I mean, he's visited other places. I don't think Cypress worries me as much because he hasn't gone anywhere else yet and follow the visits. What do you think of this Otto kid from the Keys? Looks like an on and off field. Yeah, so I like Otto a ton. Obviously accepted into Stanford. I think that he's an incredibly smart kid, and he's got, I mean, he needs to develop, right? Like, he's not anywhere close to being able to play. I think he needs some time, but I think that he could end up being really, really good. I think in 2 years, he could end up being a very good player for Florida State. He's incredibly smart, and he's incredibly big. And so I think that will help FSU a lot. I think that Otto coming in and putting on more weight, getting into that college kind of frame, I think will be really, really good for him. Oh, Harlan, I forgot we're live streaming. Let's get rid of that Cypress thing. I don't want to get shut down. Sorry, guys. On a regular video, we could do that, but we gotta YouTube will kick us real quick. Portal decision deadline. Once they're in the portal, they don't have to make a decision by any time. Most of the time you see a deadline based on and around when a school's classes start. So there's no real deadline, but Florida State would like to have them in class by the 8th or 9th when school starts. So I think that that's kind of a soft deadline. Again, drop ad, I think, is usually about a week later, so they can usually get in a few days after that. Then there are ways of getting them in past that if they want. If a kid doesn't need a ton of credits, they can obviously just enroll in the summer or the fall. Florida State would like for guys to be there for tour of duty and mat drills and stuff like that. But when do they have to be there? When do they have to? There is no portal decision deadline, right? A soft deadline is a good kind of rule of thumb is when classes begin, is about, somewhere around then. Do you think we'll have a 30-year anniversary celebration for the 93 team or a 10-year anniversary for the 2013 team? Yeah, I think they'll honor both those teams. I think that Florida State does a really good job of recognizing the past, recognizing history, and paying homage to those who, laid the path in front of you. I think so. Yeah, I think they'll do something for those teams. It'd be cool to have two patches this year, a 30 and a 10 patch. That is kind of neat. Wonder if Verse's decision has any effect on Fisk's choice. I don't think it would. By the way, so I'd say no. I think Verse coming back, well, I mean, yeah, so no negative impact. I think Verse coming back could encourage Fisk to come back. There have been rumors, there have been reports that Verse has already made that decision, has already told some teammates and stuff. I don't know that, I mean, I guess it's true, and maybe that's where some of these rumors and stuff have gotten out and to people like us that are, kind of following it and watching and stuff. But I don't know about announcing that to your team 2 weeks before you're going to announce it and then it leaks out and stuff. So I don't know. But maybe that is maybe there is maybe that's why it's gotten leaked out. Is there a drop dead date rule? No, there's no rule around it. Yeah, they could literally the day before. Now, obviously this would not be good, but the day before classes start in August, they could enroll. Or they could, the drop ad period in August. Now, if they haven't been with the team the entire last 8 months, I don't think that Norvell's going to like that. But yeah, they could literally stretch it out until August of next year. I doubt anyone will. All right, you want to be there in the spring. You want to continue to work. You want to stay in football. Things like that. Favorite non-300 recruit. You got DeMarco Ward on yours. Let me look at mine because I don't want to say a kid that is top 300. But yeah, I'll give you one in just a sec. So top 300 kids are Hykeem Williams, Lucas Simmons, Blake Nicholson, Keith Sampson, Conrad Hussey, Lamont Green Jr. Outside of the top 300, you got Vandarius Jacobs, Samuel Singleton, Edwin Joseph, Brock Glenn, Darren Lawrence, Kenton Kirkland, Jabril Rawls, Jaden Jones, Quindarius Jones, Andre Otto, DeMarco Ward. I think DeMarco Ward is a great pick there. I would probably go. Probably Edwin Joseph. I like Edwin Joseph a ton. The other one, it's kind of cheating, but I like Jacobs a ton too, but he's number 301, so I think that's kind of cheating. If you're asking about top 300 kids, then I picked the kid that's like 301. I like Edwin Joseph a lot. I think that he is a special athlete. I think he's going to be really, really good for the Noles. Plays both sides of the ball in high school. I think he can be a really, really good starter for the Noles for years. I think I like the fact that he plays both sides of the ball. I talked about this when we did our video on him when he committed. I love that he played both sides of the ball, and so he kind of understands the way to run routes, understands the way a wide receiver thinks. I like Joseph a ton. South Florida kids are just different, and I think he's going to be a really, really good one for the Noles. He's a 4-star on 3, a 3-star on 247, so he's a composite 3-star, which I think is fine. He's ranked really highly as an 89 on 247 Sports. He's pretty close to that low 4-star anyway. I think Edwin Joseph is going to be – there's a reason Miami made such a hard push for him late. There's a reason that Mario and them wanted him in that class. May have had something to do with McClain probably throwing up the deuces. But, I think he's a really good player, and they really wanted him down there. So, Edwin Joseph is probably my number one. But, there's a lot of guys. I like Jacobs a ton. Again, Jacobs is cheating. If you ask about top 300 kids and you pick 301, that's cheating. You're not allowed to say him. Cypress and Fisk we talked about a little bit. What else you guys got? Let's give a quick shout-out again. We appreciate Gramco for their support. Appreciate Garnet and Gold for their support. If you need last-second Christmas shopping, I'm telling you right now, order the gift cards. They'll deliver them to your day of. Thegramco.com, TJ25. Get you 25% off at checkout. And garnetandgold.com. You can use code NOSLAW, NOSLAW, to get 15% off your order there. What else you guys got? You guys got other Christmas traditions? You got other what do you think about this bowl game? No, we didn't talk about the bowl game at all. Let's talk a little bit about Oklahoma. So I went on a show this week. Let me pull it up just so I can give the proper shout out. Went on a show with my guy Couz's Corner, C-O-U-Z, Couz's Corner. And I spoke with a guy on there, an Oklahoma guy. Let me make sure I pull that up as well because I want to get that accurate and get that correct. But I went on and we did a Jay from Unfair Sports. So Jay from Unfair Sports was on there. Couz's Corner. It's a West Virginia channel. There's some smoke about Amari Gaynor heading to West Virginia. We'll see and kind of monitor that and see where he ends up. Love that kid. Obviously wish the best for him. But, spoke with them about it. The Oklahoma folks are not confident, just for the record. They think that this is going to be kind of trouble time for Oklahoma in this game. We all three, the Oklahoma, the West Virginia, and myself, we all predicted Florida State to win. I think I had us at about a 10-point win. I think the West Virginia guy had us at about 14, and Oklahoma had us at about a 5-point win. So I don't think there's a lot of confidence coming from Oklahoma. Florida State needs to go out and dominate here and go out and take care of business and win their 10th game. We really need to be able to sell this. Feel like I think that you don't want that letdown, man. This was a great year for FSU. Getting to 10 wins would be really special. All right, Zay, I think that's a good point. Gave us a crap game. Should have gotten a better bowl or team. So that's on the ACC, my man. That is completely on the ACC. The first bowl tie-in for the ACC is the Orange Bowl. The second bowl tie-in for the ACC is the Cheez-It Bowl, meaning the Cheez-It Bowl had the next pick of ACC teams. And, of course, the ACC picked the second-best ACC team. Can't blame the Cheez-It Bowl for that at all. I will say it's kind of funny that Cheez-It is the name. I get it. That's kind of an easy thing to kind of poke fun at. This was like the old Citrus Bowl, Chance Bowl, whatever you want to call that back in the day. It's the one we played Notre Dame in a few years ago. It's not as bad. And our options for teams to play this bowl season were going to be Minnesota, Maryland, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma. Texas Tech would have been a better game, but I think I like the bigger brand. I think I like giving Oklahoma some payback from 2000, from 2009 and 2011. So I'm all about, or 2010, 2011, sorry. So I'm all about beating Oklahoma's head in. So I get it, but yeah, I wish we had a better bowl, but that is completely on the ACC. Question on who will lead us in yards next year. I think I got to go with Johnny Wilson on this one. I look at Florida State's receivers. I look at who's coming back, and I think Johnny Wilson is the guy. FSU leading receivers coming back. Hykeem Bell, I think, is going to get a lot of both passes and runs. So that's going to take a little bit away from his catches. I don't think Hykeem Bell will lead us in yards receiving. When you look at who led us in receiving this year, Johnny Wilson was just about 274 yards ahead of Pokey Wilson. Then you had Micah Pittman. He was more than double Pittman. You had Cam McDonald at 300. You had Portier, who had just under 300. I think that – I think it's Wilson. I think he's your number one going into next year. I don't think he's made an official announcement just yet, by the way, but I do think he returns. I think it is Wilson that leads your team. I think Hykeem Williams will get a lot of burn. I think he'll help out a lot, but I don't think that he's going to get like number one reps just yet. I think in 2024 he will. I think Pittman will still kind of be your second, third, somewhere in that range. I think his numbers will be up next year, 317 this year. I think he'll increase, but I don't think he'll take over Johnny by any means. So, yeah, I think Johnny Wilson's kind of the easy pick there. Second would probably be your, better argument. Like, who finishes second? Can Hykeem get up to second? Does Pittman get up to second? Is it a tight end? Is it Morlock? Is it one of those guys? We'll see. Yeah, sick of being the ACC and basketball as well. Completely agree. I worry about the break. The players have had their... So I watched The Climb this morning, FSU's video that they do, their series, and I don't worry about the break as much. I think there could be a little bit of rust, but we're so good to start games, and Norvell has been, the only thing I really worry about usually when we're playing is, second half. Do we finish well? I think Norvell does a really, really good job of scripting things up, making things easy for guys. I think there's not going to be rust on Trey Benson. He's just going to go out there and run and do a very good job. So I don't know. I worry about that less. Oklahoma's had the same break we have. So I don't think that it's going to be too crazy as far as the break goes. Oklahoma's got kind of the same situation going. Bell and Johnny Wilson together will be a nightmare for defenses. Then you have Hykeem in the other one. Yeah, the wide receiver core. Yeah, we didn't even mention Winston Wright. I don't think he leads the team, but, he could. He'd be the one guy that I think could challenge for it. That's a good point there. Deuce Spann, I think, will have a good year. I think he'll see increased production, but I certainly don't think he leads the team in receivers. McClain, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw McClain. I don't have any inside info here, but I think that receiver room is pretty loaded. Wouldn't be super shocked if you saw McClain transfer. That's not inside info. I think that he'd like to go somewhere with a bigger role. His role was pretty non-existent the second half of the year. I wouldn't be super shocked there. Will we see Winston Wright in the bowl? I don't know. I don't have any insight there. I don't have any kind of... So I'll answer Sean, too, since we talk about Winston Wright. But I think that... I don't know. I think you want to make sure Wright is back 100%. You want to reward guys that have been playing all year. I think you'd like to probably get McClain in because... he may or may not be your next. So I don't know. I don't know if you'll see Wright in the bowl. Obviously, you'd want him to be 110% health. You don't want to risk anything. The only reason I don't have Wright ahead of Wilson right now in my projection is because I think you need to see what he looks like coming off the injury. He had a catastrophic injury. And so I think that's what we need to see. I think he'll play. I think he'll be good. Is he number one level? I'm not sure. So... Said Ripe's getting reps in practice this week. Yeah, if they can work him in, I think they will. I think they like the fact that he's stuck around and been a good off-field piece to the team. I just don't know. I don't know. You guys got anything else? We've been on for almost an hour now. It's getting close to the hour. I want to give one more shout-out to Gramco, thegramco.com. TJ25 to save 25% there, and garnetandgold.com. You can use NOSLAW, NOSLAW, to save 15% on your order at garnetandgold.com. Get your last second Christmas shopping done with gift cards, guys. That's a good way to go. Good way to get Christmas shopping done. Garnet and Gold gift cards, Gramco gift cards. Make sure you get you something for yourself from both those places as well. I forgot to message him. Forgot to message that Gator fan. I'll do it. I'll do it today. I forget his at, though. Somebody needs to message me his at. Do I think Ward will transfer? All right, we'll end with this. We'll get out of here. Treshaun Ward. I think it's a really tough decision for him because I think that he wants to be at Florida State, but I think he knows that he's not option number one at this point. And if Treshaun could go somewhere else that's really good and start and be elite and improve his draft stock, get better NIL opportunities, I wouldn't have any problem with that at all. Like, I want Treshaun back just for the record because if something was to happen to Benson, I don't have any wood out here, but if something was to happen to Benson, I think you'd love to have Treshaun there. But I would not be upset at all if he left. I think, kids at the end of the day, whether they're leaving for the pros or the transfer portal, like kind of like Amari Gaynor, man. Like Gaynor was falling back on the depth chart, wants to go somewhere and have a bigger role. I have no problem with that. If that same thing happens with Ward, I'm completely okay with it. And I will cheer for that kid for the rest of my life. Absolutely love him. And would have no problems with it. Next person to commit. There just aren't that many targets out there. So it's either Cypress or Fisk, I guess. Yeah, so give me Cypress. Give me Cypress as the next person that commits. You guys can run everywhere and take that. Minus 40 wind chill in Indiana. That's ridiculous. Right now, okay, so it's gotten colder as I've been sitting out here. It was 65 when I started. It's 59 now at my house. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But Christmas is going to be cold here. I know it's not cold for y'all that are like in crazy places, but I mean, this is Tampa, Florida. I don't choose to live in Indiana like some of you guys. Saturday, Christmas Eve, the low is 28. Sunday, Christmas Day, the low is 27. So I didn't make the choice to live in Indiana like some of y'all. That's on y'all. I chose to live in Florida. It's going to be like 20-something degrees on Christmas and Christmas Eve. Hey, guys, I really appreciate you guys. Make sure that you go subscribe to the channel. I think when I said it last, we were at like 4392. Let's get to 4,400 today. That'd be really cool to get up over that milestone. 4394. So we're 6 subscribers away from hitting 4,400. Do me a favor, make sure you're subscribed. If you think you're subscribed and you haven't just yet, go hit that subscribe button. My man lived in Carrollwood. I'm in Lutz, so not too far away from there. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Love doing these lives. Love bringing you guys content. Love talking about the Noles with you all. If anybody wants to jump on here, the next time we do these, you can just message me on Twitter or you can email me, tj@doublefriesnoslaw.com, and I'll send you the link so you can jump on and chat with us. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We will have a banger of a video coming out on Christmas Day. You don't want to miss it. I swear to you guys, it is elite. I tried to save it for Christmas. I'm not putting it out tomorrow. It'll come out on Christmas Day. Thank you all for hanging out. This is a blast to always do this with you guys. Hit the subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go Noles.